For those of us that grew up in the early 1960s, the name Lee Harvey Oswald sends terror up and down our spines, because we watched our very popular young President John F. Kennedy get cut down in Dealey Plaza on film, basically. A lot of photographers present, as he was making a campaign swing through his Vice President Johnson's state of Dallas, in Dallas, Texas. It was a beautiful, happy day until a number of shots rang out. Later, the authorities said that most of them came from the Texas Book Depository, as the president and his young wife, our First Lady, Jacqueline, were sitting in the back of a presidential Lincoln Continental, with the governor, Connally, and his wife sitting in the front seat. Both the president and Connally were struck. Connally nearly died but survived. The Kennedy second bullet went into his brain and killed him almost instantly. They took him to Parkland Hospital trying to resuscitate him, but of course there was no possible way of that. The nation was put into a feeling of loss and tragedy that I've only seen at 9/11 since, that compares in any way to our young president being cut down. At any rate, soon thereafter, a police officer was shot down by a man who ducked into a theater, and soon the police went in and arrested Lee Harvey Oswald. He claimed during his short tenure as the possible assassination of our president that he was not guilty, that he hadn't been charged with that. And after 40 years, 50 years now, of going over the evidence, it's looking more and more like a lone nut did shoot the president. We all saw Kennedy wave off the Secret Service guys from his car. Turns out that was what he ordered. He wanted, if it was Kennedy sunshine, which it was, it had been raining that morning, he didn't want Secret Service around him. And he was very photogenic, both he and his wife, particularly his wife. And they wanted to have the cameras on them. It was a campaign stop. And unfortunately, you know, this evil event took place that changed American history at that time. What the young president would have done with Vietnam, a lot of people say he was withdrawing. Well, we'll never know. 57,000 Americans lost their lives fighting that war, and some people feel it was purposeless because we ultimately caved. South Vietnam was lost to the North Vietnamese under Ho Chi Minh's government. It was a sad event, and it led to other sad events along the way, and some of us in our generation say that that's when America lost its innocence, was the Kennedy assassination. Well, items of the assassin of each of our 4 presidents that have died, being murdered, are always more valuable than the presidents they killed. Isn't that surprising? I guess America has some kind of a funny death wish or something, but items of Lee Harvey Oswald are more expensive than Kennedy's, even though Kennedy's are quite expensive too. I hold in my hand Lee Harvey Oswald's stamp album. Turns out that he stole this from his brother Bob, and his brother Bob later vouched for it. Lee has written that this book belongs to Robert Oswald, but Lee has written his own name and dated it October 23rd, 1954 down here. It does have a few stamps in it, but it's mostly just important for who owned it. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel now for new stories to come, and feel free to share the link with others.